Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now I request Dr. M.M.V. Beg, sir, to start his presentation.
Sure, sir. Just a minute. चलिए स्क्रीन दिख रहा है सबको everyone hope
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, please what you can see, just let me know. Responsible conduct of research. I think just to remind you from my last lecture, we have been talking that it is an umbrella concept where it includes research ethics as well as research integrity. So today I will talk just to remind that we'll be talking within this context only, under this umbrella concept only, regarding misconduct, scientific misconduct especially. So this comes under ethics as well as integrity. So today I'll be dealing with scientific misconduct. That too includes, if we just see our syllabus wise, this is I think the third point which I'll be covering. That is falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. So just to have an idea about this, we'll continue with the research integrity. We'll call as research integrity. See, I discussed this in my last lecture that we recognize academic and research integrity, and like the breaching of this integrity happens in many instances, like cheating in examination writing, copying or something like that, plagiarizing written work or verbal presentation. See, many a times innocently, I again reiterate that I always say that most of our researchers, they are very innocent as such because they are unaware of the things they really didn't know. So I consider this as unintentional errors. Unintentional, we cannot say it is dishonesty, but sometimes what happens, even when I was a student, sometimes, my teacher told me these things. So sometimes what happens when I used to review the reference papers, then some sentences, they were very convincing. So I used to think how beautifully this sentence has been written, and that tempted me to copy the sentence as it is. Definitely when I copied such sentences, when I showed to my teacher, when they read, they say, where did you read this? Where did you take this sentence from? I said, such and such paper is there. And he said, why didn't you put it, give the appropriate credits to those people who have written this sentence? Sir, there is just an universal truth in that sentence. And I thought that no. These are exact, these are not your words. These are words of some other person. Why you are stealing those words? And that made me very embarrassing. And I said, so how did you come to know that I have copied? See, we know that how we write, how we read, our writing style, pattern of English and all those things. So I think this is sheerly taken from some other source. This is good, but you should not copy as it is. If you want to just those sentences, just split it into some sentences, write in your own words. Don't copy it. If you really want to copy as it is, like a quote, sometimes we put a quote there into inverted comma. I can show you. So again, we need to give the attribution there. We need to attribute whom that sentence really belong to, whose IPR it is. So basically, we need to be careful. So sometimes unknowingly we commit that, we copy some written work or even verbal presentations as well. Or it could be in fabricating the data or bibliographic information also. Fabricate whatever data you try to manipulate the data. That is breach of integrity. And unauthorized collaborations, collaboration which doesn't seems to be logical or which are not authorized through our governing system. Suppose if you are a research scholar working in science college in department of whatever your department, chemistry, botany, zoology, or whatever. So if you wish to collaborate with any other researcher across the universe, so first, the proper way is to take permission from your guide first, because your guide happens to be working in an institution. Wherever the name of your guide comes, definitely the institution's name also comes. Then it is a proper way that your guide should seek permission from the higher authorities, maybe the principal or the management, or see, because these things, they matter. Because if we are going through this way, definitely we need permission for. So these are, if without telling anyone, I just collaborate with some other researcher and put a paper name, my name in the paper. So that is, we cannot say it is just we are trying to make out some profit out of that relationship. Some beneficial arrangement could be there. So that is, we should be aware that unauthorized collaborations, they also comes under breach of research integrity. Even falsifying grade, incorrectly putting grades, that is also, or misinterpreting oneself to get advantage. So to gain an advantage, suppose you have published 110 papers, and when I write 120 papers, so I need to be very careful by putting the statement that unless I had 120 papers to my credit, I shall never put that figure there. So that is even, this is what misinterpreting oneself. So these are some of the instances. And what can we do to ensure, again, in my earlier 2 lectures, again, I will be repeating this same things. So ethical behavior is expected from every researcher. Often in India, we have not channelized these things very carefully, but things have come up in a very difficult way. So UGC thought it is better to have, right when a researcher is born, it is better to be put all those awareness regarding this thing should be at the very first instance. So that is why this paper has been included, and I suppose they have done a very good thing. So very initial, because when I was a research scholar, I was never taught this thing. Whatever I learned from my guide only. And I used to ask so many questions. He used to answer those. He was a very patient man. He was a very gentleman, and he used to answer all those questions. So I was rather, I think, more confident that I knew many of the things which I believe that my contemporary researcher didn't know. So I was very confident in that. So essentially, we should have this, our mode of conduct should be very honest. We should be trustful. We should be fair in our day-to-day arrangements, and we should respect others and gain respect from others, and we should behave very responsibly. So if we just inculcate all this habit, I am sure there will be never a breach of research integrity amongst our researchers. So when I started reading about research integrity, and I thought I was just was about to discuss with the students, I was just searching what people have been doing around, because again, this I feel is the topic of research. So I could find this commentary in Nature. This is a commentary published in 2005, where and they have told that you can see what they said, that scientists behaving badly means to protect the integrity of science, we must look beyond falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism to a wider range of questionable research practices. This commentary was given by three people: Brian Martinson, Melissa Anderson, and Raymond DeVaris. See, when I just look into this, these three words, they were very convincing: falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. So they listed, if you have wish to have the paper I had the complete paper. I guess it is freely available on the web otherwise. So you can just read this commentary also. So just to get an essence that what type of behavior, I will be also talking of these behaviors. Similarly, after again going through many more papers, I also read this commentary published in 2000, again in the Nature. There, because earlier said there was a breach. Then this paper I read, they really were worried about how to repair the research integrity, how to just have a correction over these wrong things. So basically, when I read, I will just give you the gist of the whole of this commentary, what they did. So they surveyed 2,212 researchers and they observed 201 instances of misconduct. Like I have given you that a postdoc has changed the number in essays in order to improve the data. See what we can say, falsification. We are changing. A colleague duplicated results between three different papers, but differently labeled data in each paper. See, this is again plagiarism, means we are copying result. The colleague person, they have reported that. When a co-investigator on a large interdisciplinary grant application reported that a postdoctoral fellow in his laboratory falsified data submitted as preliminary data in the grant application. As principal investigator of grant, I submitted supplementary data to collect that. This is often done by his postdoc student, and he corrected. See, this is often in case, especially when there is a question of funding. Still in India, we need to channelize how funding could be done. And here, Indian, I believe they are very sincere, very honest. As such, still we need to read these things. We need to be aware of this. So, in this way, these are some of the instances where people, they just manipulate the things that we can regard as a misconduct. Then what is research misconduct? Just a minute. Hello? So, what is research misconduct? It is defined as the fabrication, falsification, or plagiarism in proposing, performing, or reviewing research, or in reporting results. See, this has been the Office of Research Integrity from US. I have somewhere again, I have quoted very boldly the same. That's why I have given in double quotes. So this is not my definition. This is definition for Office of Research Integrity, Directorate of Health and Human This is from there. The violation of standard codes of scholarly conduct and ethical behavior in professional scientific research. This definition I got from this Wikipedia. You can even search that. It is we have certain standard codes of conduct. So last 2 lectures I have been talking that though they are not rule, but it is an obligation on all researchers to follow a very standard code of conduct, a scholarly conduct, and ethical behavior, so that whatever the research we do, it is professionally perfect. Then from Michigan State University, I was reading their booklet. Their booklet is available on it also. That misconduct, I mean, it is that research that deviate from practices commonly accepted in the discipline or in academic and research community. Generally, again, the words which has been already the Office of Research and proposing, performing, reviewing, or reporting research and creative. So this is where there is just misconduct, any deviation from the ethical behavior. That means it comes under misconduct. So in our words, how we could say that? So misconduct is fabrication we have 3 types: fabrication, falsification, plagiarism. So fabrication is making, means generating data or result, or recording or reporting the data, which is already not there. Now we are generating. You are just making yourself, that is fabricating. And falsification is manipulating the research material, equipment, processes, or changing the data, changing the result, or presenting inaccurately the record. This is what falsification is. So fabrication, falsification. Third is plagiarism. Plagiarism is the appropriation of some other person's idea. It is not only the written material, but even if you take the idea, that becomes a plagiarism. Process, whatever the process someone have described, the results, the words, without giving appropriate attribution should be given that so and so person has done. Or generally, when you write a review, you write in the bracket the name of the author, the year, so as to it should be identified that who has done that work. So that is, we say it is, these are 3 types of misconduct. Then even I was looking into what does falsification or fabrication or plagiarism, how they are defined in different dictionaries. So I could find in Oxford that falsification, the action of falsifying information of or a theory, means which is गलत तरीके से present करना, theory हो या कोई भी चीज. So that is what we said is falsifying. Fabrication, according to Cambridge University, the act of inventing false information in order to deceive someone. देखिए कैसी बढ़िया बात लिखी है. हम कोई ऐसा, we are just inventing, इन्होंने कोई तैयार कर रहे हैं, डाटा जनरेट कर रहे हैं, इंफॉर्मेशन जनरेट कर रहे हैं, किसी को तो भी धोखा देने की. डिसीविंग इज धोखा देना. समवन और द फॉल्स इंफॉर्मेशन इटसेल्फ, या गलत इंफॉर्मेशन को जनरेट करना इटसेल्फ इज फैब्रिकेशन. तीसरा जो वर्ड था प्लैगियरिज्म. Plagiarism is the process or practice of using another person's idea or work and pretending that is your own. ये आपका है बोल के आप बता रहे हैं, पर ये आपका है नहीं. So अगर है तो आप वहां पर नाम दे दो. जैसे मैं लिख देता हूँ, जैसा एक सेंटेंस है, I know nothing in biology make sense except in the science, in the light of evolution. See, this is very famous quote. Nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. So if I say that this is my own, that I am plagiarizing the sentence which has been already said by Theodor Dobzhansky, a great genetics. Similarly, knowledge, imagination without knowledge is useless. This sentence has been said by Albert Einstein. See, these are some very famous quotes. So what we do whenever we put such quotes, we put into inverted comma, we put the name of the person who have given, whose it belongs to, because it is their intellect property. So we should not claim so. So that is what we say it is plagiarism. Then you can even ask, what is research misconduct? So research misconducts mean that does not include honest error. अभी जो मैंने बोला कि एक गलती से हो गया, unknowingly होता है, तो honest, ईमानदारी से आप काम कर रहे हो और गलत हो जा रहा है, so we can say it is honest. It is not misconduct नहीं बोलेंगे. या फिर difference of opinion cannot be misconduct. See, आपकी एक opinion अलग है और मेरी एक अलग है. There could be so many difference of opinion. So हम जब डिक्लेरेशन पेपर में भी अगर हमारी ओपिनियन डिफरेंस है तो वी जनरली गिव द डिक्लेरेशन वी हैव नो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट देयर. सो इवन दिस इज accepted, this is not misconduct. So even what is destruction of record, especially if you have to just to avoid detection of wrongdoing or in contravention of applicable funding agreement, तो जो भी रूल्स पॉलिसीज लॉ रेगुलेशन है तो वहाँ के रिकॉर्ड उसके लिए फंडिंग के लिए या जो भी रीजन है, सो इवन दैट इज डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ रिकॉर्ड. इट्स जस्ट कि आपने गलत किया और उसका प्रूफ आप मिटा रहे हैं, दैट इज व्हाट डिस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ रिसर्च रिकॉर्ड. सी इफ यू रिमेंबर, बेसिकली आई बिलोंग टू बायोलॉजी. I hope everyone have seen, might have heard of, because Mendel, we have here Mendel right from our schooling days. School में भी Mendel पढ़ते थे. Mendel से talk about 3 laws of inheritance. तो इसका मतलब Mendel के पास जो data था, that was obeying that laws, but he had the data which doesn't obey the law. तो उसने ऐसा नहीं किया कि उसने he just destructed all this record. He kept those record. But he said this record was, this data is not following what Mendel's law says. So what I am suggesting the law, I have exception to this law. I am not able to interpret the result in the light of these laws. See how beautifully he has written. So later people like Morgan and all this, they came up with linkages and all those things. See, this is the beauty of science. So, even if we could not make out meaning of many of the things, we should be able to preserve that, and someone else definitely, if it is true, it is not falsified, definitely someone will make out some meaning of it. So even redundant publication means if you have published same data, just changing the title, publishing in one journal, changing the title, changing some cosmetic changes, changing some minor things in second paper, second journal, third. See, this is research misconduct, we say. Again, this comes under falsification or fabricating. We should not do these things. Even sometimes, if we use some others' data, definitely we should give appropriate credit to those, like acknowledgement, or if sufficient work has been done, we should be able to give authorship, really, if it is there. Then what is invalid authorship? Invalid authorship means inaccurate attribution of authorship. Means suppose those persons, those who have not contributed sufficiently to qualify as an author, then we cannot say, we can say that is an invalid authorship. Be careful in giving authorship. Like I said, you scratch my back, I will scratch your back. जो आप मेरी पीठ को जाओ, मैं आपकी को जाता हूँ. नहीं, आप मेरे पेपर में आपका नाम डालता हूँ, आपके पेपर में मेरा नाम डालो. This is wrong. This falls under misconduct. Definitely, if you really want to include the name, अगर लगता है मुझे कि भाई आपका नाम लेना है, तो मैंने क्या करना चाहिए? ईमानदारी से आपको बुलाना चाहिए. चलिए ये काम करके दीजिए, तभी जाके आपका मैं नाम लूंगा, नहीं तो मेरा नाम. बहुत बार होता है कि मेरे स्टूडेंट बोलते हैं, सर हमने ये काम किया है और हम पेपर में आपका नाम डाल रहे हैं. मतलब क्यों डाल रहे हैं आप? मैंने काम किया क्या इसमें? नहीं, आप हमारे गाइड है, बनेंगे। अगर मैंने उसमें कंट्रीब्यूट किया होगा तो बिल्कुल डालिए, अगर मेरा कुछ भी कंट्रीब्यूशन तो प्लीज नेवर पुट देयर, मैं कभी नहीं डालना। हाँ, कुछ कुछ रिसर्च स्कॉलर जब मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट तैयार करते हैं तो सर इसको चेक करके दीजिए, चेक करते हैं, उसको करेक्शन कीजिए, इसकी लैंग्वेज इंप्रूव कीजिए। आई कुड अंडरस्टैंड, आई एम कंट्रीब्यूटिंग, तो मैं बोलता हूँ कि माई पुट माई नेम इन द लास्ट, क्योंकि मैंने सबसे, मुझे शाम श्योर आई हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड टू द लिस्ट। तो या फिर वो बोलते हैं कि सर आप ही करस्पॉन्ड कीजिए, डेफिनेटली आई एम हैप्पी टू करस्पॉन्ड, then I can think of that putting my name. But otherwise, I never ask my student to put my name in their research paper which they have worked. Otherwise, if it is from thesis, I can think of that they have worked under my supervision. Somewhere my idea lies there. So we have to be very careful in providing authorship to our friends, colleagues, or so. Then inadequate acknowledgement. Suppose some people have helped you in doing some essay, or but that doesn't qualify them to be the author, then definitely you should put their acknowledgement. So even that comes under research misconduct. So if you don't acknowledge appropriately, it is misconduct. Should say, suppose, let me tell you one instance. One of my student, he took help from science college, that HPTLC. He got analyzed then to HPTLC. Then he just he bought all the, because the idea was mine and he was working on it, and he got analysis from there. Then he came to me with this manuscript. Then I said I need to be improved. Then I wrote it again. I rewrote the whole paper, and then paper got in a good shape. And then what I did, then I started looking into really, if it is good, then I looked into the plagiarism part and all those things. Then all of a sudden the idea came to see, you have done this SPTLC and you got analyzed from Science College Nanded. So he said, yes, sir. They offer the service and I have took the benefit. Then if you're taking the work from them, definitely you should put their name in the acknowledgement. So if it is not there, it means that instrument you are doing it, even if you put, you have done that going there. It is like that, no, they have solely done. I am just using them. Definitely, you should put in the acknowledgement that this work has been carried, the analysis has been carried out in Science College Nanded. That will be we could say we are sticking to the research integrity. So even that is inadequate acknowledgement. Then a mismanagement of conflict of result, conflict of interest, just I said. See, there could be difference of opinion. So if I say, suppose, if I could discover, suppose, take an example that we have been assessing, taking care of a plant. It was totally in the lab condition, controlled condition. So we have been looking into many aspects like soil condition, atmosphere, light, and so on and so forth. Suppose my colleague, researcher who have been working with that say that certain effect has been due to these factors, and it has been already, suppose, proved that. And if I have the opinion, no, these, apart from these factors, they were responsible for that effect. Then this is conflict of interest. Then we should either include both of these. Then we should say that we have conflict of interest over the result on the particular aspect. So that is what it is expected. Even if you don't quote it and you have a conflict of, then this is again, no one is going to look into that, but this is regarded as misconduct. Then what are the criteria for research misconduct? So representing significant departure from accepted practice, whatever the standard code of conduct is there. So still in India, we don't have very strict guidelines, but many of the times we believe that we are our own policemen who are taking care of our own research. So we should believe in ourselves and tell that this is not any deviation from the accepted behavior. We are honest, we are sincere, we are trustworthy, we are accountable, we are responsible, we are doing in a very right way, we are not harming anyone, we are giving respect to all. So many conduct is there, we are following all those conduct. Any deviation from such conduct, we can say that is research. Again, I am underlining it, those act which has been committed intentionally, जानबूझ के गलत करना या knowingly मालूम रहते हुए करना या सब मालूम है फिर भी no one is taking care, चलो अपन करते, that is recklessly. You should never do that. Again, that is a misconduct. हाँ, इसमें कुछ हो सकता है जो भी जैसे मैंने बोला. तो this is what we can say. This is what we misconduct. Then question again, what is not misconduct? जैसे अभी बोला कि honest unintentional error है, जानबूझ के नहीं किया हुआ, अनजाने में. तो we can say that is not misconduct. अनजाने में होगी भी गलती, आपके पास गुंजाइश है उसको करेक्ट करने की, still had a chance. Then fake and fraudulent data, facts. जैसे मैं वो पेपर पढ़ रहा था, उसमें बहुत बार सुनने को मिलता है, पढ़ने को मिलता है, read that, कि 2% researchers, see number is very less. They have admitted faking of data at least once in their career. कोई आपके लिए तो आपके पीछे बंदूक लेके नहीं पड़ा है कि आप गलत डेटा पब्लिश कीजिए, नहीं तो आप सही, अगर आपका पब्लिश नहीं हुआ तो आपको गोली मार देंगे, ऐसा तो कोई चक्कर है नहीं. No one is against power, just behind you. We should be very true to ourselves. Even see this 2%, it is wrong. गलत है ये, 2% भी नहीं होना चाहिए. So because we believe that scientists, they are very truthful, very sincere, very sincere person, very honest person. So even 2% for me, it is a very big number. So it is there. This has been on the record. अभी देखो, मैं नेचर का ही पेपर से बताया हूँ, 2000 में से 200 बोल रहे हैं. So this is a good number. बहुत गलत बात है. So blurred boundaries between innocent error, misunderstanding, unavoidable fault, intentional bending and massive falsification, ये भी गलत है, क्योंकि जैसे मैं बार बार बोलता हूँ, that is always not black and white, it is always, there is some always gray area. जैसे हम हर चीज सही या गलत में बीच में का आदि विवाद भी होती है. तो that is, we say it is blurred boundaries between innocent, अनजाने में. मैं फिर बोलता हूँ कि I believe almost all the researchers, they are innocent. Innocently they are doing errors. कभी कभी हो जाता है, पर बाद में उन्होंने ये जब पता चले कि अरे ये मेरे से गलती होगी, तो डेफिनेटली दे शुड करेक्ट इट जब पता चले. तो बट बहुत बार हम ठीक है, हो गया, जाने दो, छोड़ दो. That again means that is, these are blood boundaries. Again, these are fraudulent data and misunderstanding. कोई बात को अपन गलत तरीके से समझ के लेना या उसको गलत तरीके से प्रेजेंट करना, that is also wrong. जैसे सपोज एक ड्रोसोफिला पता है, फ्लाइज पता है, फ्लाइज फ्रूट फ्लाई होते हैं ना, छोटे से. मेरे गाइड बहुत बार इंस्टेंसेस देते थे. जस्ट होल्ड अ मिनट, आई एम गेटिंग. सो मिस इंटरप्रिटेशन कैसा रिजल्ट का, जैसे बोलते हैं कि मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग कैसे, हमारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग ही गलत है. कि जैसे वो बार बार बोलते थे कि एक रिसर्चर, एक टीचर ने अपने स्टूडेंट को एक फ्रूट फ्लाई दिया, छोटा सा फ्रूट फ्लाई, जिसको फ्रूट फ्लाई को 4 विंग्स होते हैं, 4 विंग्स. तो उसने बोला चलो जाओ इस पे कुछ तो ऑब्जर्वेशन करो, रिसर्च करो. लेके आओ. बंदा गया, लेके उसको लैब में छोटा, तो गन चेंबर में फ्लाई को छोड़ा, फ्लाई उड़ने लगे. उसको पकड़ा, जट उसका एक विंग प्लक आउट कर दिया. फिर बोला उड़, फिर उड़ने लगी, दूसरा प्लक आउट किया, तीसरा बोला, तीसरा प्लक आउट किया, उड़ बोला फिर। अब एक ही दो उस पे तो उड़ रहा था, पर जब एक बचा वो फ्लाई को कैसे उड़ने आएगा? तो उसने लिख दिया कि 3 इसके विंग्स प्लग करने के बाद द फ्लाई डजंट ओबे एनी ऑर्डर। और अब दूसरा लिखा, फ्लाई बिकम्स डेफ, वो तो बहरा बहरा हो गया, उसको कुछ सुने नहीं आया। सो दिस इज मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग। यू शुड बी वेरी लॉजिकल इन योर वे, बट ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता कि विंग्स रहना और उड़ना, एक विंग पे कैसा उड़ सकते, तो लॉजिकल नहीं। दिस इज अवर मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग। उड़ने के लिए मिनिमम नंबर दैट शुड बी डिफाइंड। सो दिस इज व्हाट वी से मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग, अवॉइडेबल फॉल्ट। बहुत सारे गलतियां हम, जैसे आपने देखा होगा, many of the time we may have when you have gone for analysis, especially biology chemistry wale, when they go for analysis for GC, HPLC or higher one mass and all, they often ask for AR grade reagents. AR grade is analytical reagent, AR is. So they are highly purified, highly purified. So impurities, they are almost very near to 0.0001%. But laboratory grade, which we normally use in LR grade laboratory reagent, so there are so many impurities, 0.1% impurities. Even this 0.1% impurity, if you put in HPLC or GC, they will show a different result owing to the impurities present. Now, if I say whatever the result I am getting, it is due to the sample, not due to the impurities present in the whatever the extraction I have done, then this is what we say I am. These are the fault which I am including in my result. This could be avoidable. These are such avoidable faults. These are always there. We need to be very careful. So, again, fraud implies intention to cheat. अगर आप कोई गलत प्रेजेंटेशन कर रहे हैं तो इसका मतलब है आपका इंटेंशन ही है कि झूठ बोलने का, गलत डेटा प्रेजेंट कर। फिर आपको एक बार मैं वही एक चीज अभी जो थोड़ी देर पहले ऑफिस ऑफ रिसर्च इंटीग्रिटी वालों ने गया, फिर यूएस ऑफिस ने भी यही डिफाइन किया है कि फैब्रिकेशन, फॉल्सिफिकेशन, प्लैगरिज्म इन प्रपोजिंग, परफॉर्मिंग और रिव्यूइंग रिसर्च और रिपोर्टिंग रिसर्च। ये 4 चीज आ गए देखो, प्रपोजिंग, परफॉर्मिंग, रिव्यूइंग एंड रिपोर्टिंग, चारों भी रिसर्च से रिलेटेड है। सो रिमेंबर देयर इज ऑफिस, यूएस ऑफिस ऑफ साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी पॉलिसी, और वहां पर ऑफिस है रिसर्च इंटीग्रिटी का, ऑफिस ऑफ रिसर्च। ये लोग they are law keeper, I can say. They just observe the things and they punish people who misbehave. Punishment in the sense उनका publication ban कर देंगे, funding नहीं मिले, like that. So again, I need to just remind you. Then what is not misconduct? See, research misconduct does not include, I said just before, I said there could be difference of opinion, disputes regarding honest errors or honest differences in interpretation. Sincerely, हो सकता है कि we may not be knowing all things, we might be knowing very small things, और उस पे हमारा differences हो सकता है. Many a times what happens, we understand. बहुत बार मेरे पास जो पेपर आते हैं रिव्यूइंग के लिए, when I go for reviewing, sometimes see researchers, they interpret the data in different way. अब जब पढ़ते तब मुझे पता चल जाता है कि यार इसने कहीं तो भी गलत इंटरप्रिटेशन कर दिया, बट पूरा पेपर पढ़ने के बाद भी जब ये आइडिया आ जाता है कि नहीं इसने अनइंटेंशनल किया है, तो उसमें मैं कमेंट कर देता हूँ कि दिस शुड बी मोर लॉजिकली अगेन एनालाइज, इंटरप्रेटेड, सो दैट इन दिस लाइट उनको आइडिया भी दे देता हूँ कि दिस शुड। और जहाँ कहीं भी मुझे पता चलता है कि आई फील दैट दिस हैज बीन डन इंटेंशनली, तो आउटराइट मैं लिख देता हूँ कि दिस इंटरप्रिटेशन सीम्स टू बी intentionally in a wrong way to falsify the data, to falsify the result. And in my view, this is a research misconduct and I straight away I recommend to reject the thesis for publication. See, I straight away write these things. So this may be, we need to be very careful. बड़े journals के लिए ये चीज बहुत important होती है. So many a times I am very strict in reviewing the papers. तो जहाँ पर honest errors हो सकते हैं, differences हो सकते हैं. So I have read papers like that even, where suppose there are many authors and there are many possibilities they have put all the opinions. I could understand that they have accepted, they have come to a common conclusion that all their opinions should be included in, and lastly somewhere in the declaration they have given there is no conflict of interest in the manuscript. Definitely that I appreciate the researcher, that they are open to the ideas and they are not doing any research misconduct. See, this is even false, honest differences we accept. Sometimes we judge data in a different way. We agree. There could be debate or disagreement. But if it is very true and within that given circumstances, sometimes we accept those things also. Even misconduct, what we say intentionally, knowingly, if we are doing, definitely that is very, very wrong. Then whistleblowing, misconduct, whistleblowing यानी ये तीनों भी जो चीज है, सच जैसे मुझे पता चलता है कि मेरा ही कोई स्टूडेंट गलत कर रहा है तो मैं चिल्लाना पुकारना ये गलत है, भले वो प्रेजेंटेशन जब देता है वो बोलता सर मैंने ये किया, मैं सीधा स्ट्रेट वे बता देता हूँ. इवन समटाइम्स researcher from our department, if they are some doing something wrong, if I smell something like this, definitely I suggest no, this is the wrong way you are to interpret the data. So it is the duty of those people who are within the organization who knew these things. क्योंकि अगर मैं अब चुप बैठ जाता तो वो और कहीं जाता, और कहीं गया तो और पब्लिश होता, कहीं ना कहीं अगर वो डिटेक्ट हो जाती गलत बात, it means it will brought bad fame to my institution. So it is my duty to be a whistleblowing for such misconduct. अगर कोई गलत काम कर रहा है तो मेरी जिम्मेदारी और मेरे सामने हो रहा है, I should never permit. It is your responsibility. देखो इसको भी अगर दूसरा कोई, आप तो मत करो, accepted, पर दूसरा कोई कर रहा है, should report it. आप चिल्ला पुकारा करो इसका कि ये गलत हो रहा है. Then questionable research practices. बहुत सारे questionable, जिसको हम misconduct तो नहीं बोलेंगे, ये कुछ तो भी ग्रे एरिया में फॉल होते हैं, जैसे डाटा मैनेजमेंट सही नहीं रखते आप या रिकॉर्ड सही मेंटेन नहीं करते. I often even appeal all researchers, जितने भी मुझे सुन रहे हैं, मैं सबसे फिर एक रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ कि प्लीज हैव ए रिकॉर्ड, लेबोरेटरी रिकॉर्ड बुक. आपकी एक बड़ा रजिस्टर बनाओ जिसमें आप रोज क्या किए, भले आपने कुछ नहीं लैब की सफाई की है, टू राइट देयर आई हैव क्लीन द लैब ऑन दिस डे. मैं लिखता था मेरे रिकॉर्ड, मेरी लैब बुक में लिखा है कि आई हैव होल डे आई हैव बीन वॉशिंग माय ग्लासवेयर्स. दिन भर मैंने क्या किया, तो व्हाट हैपेंड कि 2-3 बार ऐसा आ गया मेरी लैब में, पूरा दिन मेरा सुबह 10 बजे से शाम के 4 बजे तक मैंने क्या किया, तो ग्लासवेयर धोते हुए मेरे गाइड वो बोले आपने पिछले 8 दिन में 15 दिन में काम क्या किया, देखिए बताओ आपके नोट, हिसाब द नोटबुक, वहां पर देखें कि मैं 2 ग्लासवेयर दिन भर पूरा डाला. बोले व्हाई इट इज टेकिंग सो मच टाइम, तो बोला एक्सपेरिमेंट जब लगाता हूँ तो ग्लासवेयर पीछे पड़ जाते हैं, उसको रख देता हूँ, फिर एक ही बार आई जस्ट डू. यू शुड नॉट डू, यू आर वेस्टिंग मच टाइम ऑन वॉशिंग, दिस शुड नॉट बी योर वर्क. देन पार्ट टाइम ही गिव मी ए प्यून, बॉटनी डिपार्टमेंट से प्यून दे दी कि यू यूज हिम एटलीस्ट फॉर रोज 1 घंटा, इससे आप ग्लासवेयर आपके रोज के रोज इससे धुला लेते जाओ और दिन वेस्ट हो. तो मेरे पास अगर रिकॉर्ड मेंटेन है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है. तो यही नोटबुक में मैं लिखता था कि व्हाट रीडिंग आई गॉट यस्टरडे, व्हाट रीडिंग आई गॉट टुडे, व्हाट आई विल बी रिकॉर्डिंग टुमारो, एवरी रिकॉर्ड आई यूज्ड टू टेक. तो एक इंस्टेंस ऐसा भी आया, आई लेट मी टेल यू कि व्हाट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ कीपिंग ए रिकॉर्ड, रिसर्च रिकॉर्ड बुक बोलूंगा, आपकी लैब नोटबुक बोलो. लैब नोटबुक सब बड़े इंस्टीट्यूट्स में सब तरफ इंडिया में अब्रॉड सब तरफ एक लैब नोटबुक हर एक रिसर्चर की होती है, जिसमें सब लिखना होता है उसका, कहाँ गया, क्या किया, क्या लाया, क्या आज क्या रीजेंट प्रिपेयर किया, एवरीथिंग रोज लिखना, आज मैंने इतना एनालिसिस किया। दैट विल प्रूव दैट यू हैव बीन डूइंग दैट। तो अगर डेटा हम सही रखते तो अच्छे तरीके से रखते डाटा, नाउ इट डज, and now we have computers and all that, we can keep a very good record of every day's work in the our system. So कई कई डाटा मैंने हमारा कभी ओमिट हो जाता है, रिकॉर्ड बुक में लिखा हूं मैं, पानी गिर गया या सॉल्वेंट गिर गया, पूरा वॉश हो गया, देन डेटा तो गया, डेटा तो सही था। फिर मैं कोशिश करता हूँ कि एनग्रेवमेंट जो उस पे था, मैं पेन दबा के लिखने से जो लिखा, आई ट्राई टू, दिस इज पुअर डेटा मैनेजमेंट, इट शुड नॉट बी लाइक दैट, आई शुड कीप इट वेरी नाइसली। रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग या जो भी लिखते हैं, वी शुड बी वेरी केयरफुल। देन दिस इज अगेन, we should report this thing, whistleblowing. Then when should you speak out or prepare evidential document? देखिए, sometimes this may happen wherever criminal action is involved, वहां पर आपको बोलना ही बोलना है कि उसमें फिर जहाँ पर रिसर्च मिसकंडक्ट, हमारे पास तो उतना दिक्कत वाला काम नहीं है इंडिया में, इतना नहीं जाते लेवल पर, बहुत सारे कंट्रीज में देयर इज फंडिंग एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स इन्वॉल्व, जहाँ पर कुछ इंजरी हो गई, फिजिकल इंजरी या लाइफ की इंजरी हो गई, सो फैसिलिटी या मटेरियल जो रिस्क पे है, सो वी नीड टू बी टेकिंग केयर। जैसा बहुत बार होता है कि लापरवाही से कोई इंस्ट्रूमेंट फूट जाता है, टूट जाता है, इंजरी हो जाती है, एसिड गिर जाता है, so we should be aware of these things. So that is, we can say this is, we should make people aware कि what safety precaution should be there. अगर मेरे लैब में sufficient safety precaution नहीं है तो I should tell people this is what we say this whistleblower. Then होता क्यों है, लोग करते क्यों है? मुझे एक क्वेश्चन आया ऐसे ही कि what is the reason for doing misconduct, plagiarism क्यों करते हैं, falsification क्यों करते हैं, फैब्रिकेशन क्यों करते हैं, तो मुझे लगा कि बहुत सारे बड़े इंस्टीट्यूट में, आई हैव वर्कड इन सम वेल रिनाउंड इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट्स आल्सो, so one thing I really felt that there is always a pressure for publication, so they say publish or perish, या तो पब्लिश करो या खत्म हो जाओ। तो in order to keep afloat all those people, they always work on some good papers, good to prepare good papers, communicate, publication भी अच्छा होता है। So this is what it is expected. So publish and perish pressure, इसकी वजह से if I am not doing good work and still have pressure to publish, then I will start fabricating the data, generate करना शुरू कर दूंगा, that is wrong. Then it may be due to desire to get ahead. बहुत लोगों को आगे भागने का शौक होता है, बड़ाई बढ़त लेने की आदत, ahead of others. So even that could lead to this misconduct. Personal problems हो सकते, character issue हो सकते, then cultural differences हो सकते, there could be many, just few I quoted. Then identification of such misconduct कैसे हो सकता, ये तो आप खुद करना है अपने बारे में, या फिर आपके कलीग्स के बारे में आप कर सकते, जो आपके साथ काम कर रहे हैं, रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, उसके बारे में कर सकते, और या फिर आप कोई रिजल्ट करे हैं और वो रिजल्ट आपकी लैब में तो सही आ रहा है पर दूसरी लैब में नहीं आ रहा, सो दिस कुड बी आइडेंटिफाई हाउ, इसमें पता हो सकता है कि अनइंटेंशनल भी है, तो इसमें भाई रिजल्ट आपके पास आ रहा है और वहां नहीं आ रहा है, तो क्यों नहीं आ रहा है। सो इफ यू सर्च दिस यू मे एबल टू करेक्ट इट विद मिसकंडक्ट। देन कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस क्या हो सकते, इसका असर क्या हो सकता है, इफेक्ट क्या हो सकता है, कि जैसे मैं पिछली बार भी बताया कि गलत रिपोर्टिंग से गलत इनका पेपर विड्रॉ किया गया नेचर का, कोरियन साइंटिस्ट की बात कर रहा हूँ, so the paper all pending, उनको she has been restricted from publishing in the special journals, science nature जैसे जर्नल में restrict हो गए, so that is consequence का इफेक्ट देखो, reprimanding or removal from project, rank, salary, reduction, dismissal, बार डिमोशन हो जाता है, प्रमोशन निकाल लेते हैं, या फिर प्रोजेक्ट पे से हटा देते हैं, या फिर रैंक निकाल लेते हैं, या सैलरी में कमी कर देते हैं, कहीं कहीं जो इंक्रीमेंट मिलता है वो इंक्रीमेंट रोक देते हैं। तो इसका इफेक्ट देखिए, दीज आर वेरी हार्मफुल थिंग्स। एक बार ये नाम के साथ जुड़ गए तो हरदम फिर छूटते नहीं, लोग फिर उसी की पहचान बना देते हैं। रिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ फंड टू ग्रांटिंग एजेंसी, आप गलत तरीके से मिसइंटरप्रेट करके जो रिजल्ट ग्रांट्स यूज कर रहे हैं, दैट इज अगेन कॉन्सिक्वेंस ऑफ, आपके आगे का अगला बजट मिलेगा ही नहीं। देन इनएलिजिबिलिटी टू अप्लाई फॉर फेडरल ग्रांट्स, और गवर्नमेंट के जो ग्रांट्स है बहुत बार आपको बैन करने के बाद आप प्रोजेक्ट सबमिट नहीं कर सकते फंडिंग। दिस कुड बी सम ऑफ द consequences of this falsification or misconduct. अल्टीमेटली एक हो सकता है कि आपका रिसर्च करियर का खात्मा, खलास, एंड ऑफ ईयर रिसर्च करियर, फिर आपने सब छोड़ छाड़ के फिर दूसरा ही कोई काम करना। सो इफ यू आर रेडी फॉर दिस, डेफिनेटली you can dare to conduct, you dare to just go ahead with this strong thing. Then एग्जाम्पल तो बहुत कुछ बता सकता हूँ, एक आधा एग्जाम्पल मैं कुछ लिख के रखा था। यस, है मेरे पास। 2012 का केस है, हार्वर्ड के एक साइकोलॉजिस्ट है मार्क हाउजर, जिनका बहुत बड़ा नाम हुआ था ओरिजिन ऑफ कॉग्निशन एंड मोरालिटी पे। ये जो ऑफिस ऑफ इंटीग्रिटी है, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ हेल्थ एंड ह्यूमन सर्विसेज, जो मैं बोला, DHS, उनको पता चला कि कारपेंटर हैज फॉल्स फैब्रिकेटेड द डेटा, और उनमें जो मेथड था वही गलत था। और वो मेथड उनके जो फंडिंग एजेंसीज ने जो 6 प्रोजेक्ट में 6 जगह फंडिंग स्टडीज में दे फाउंड इट रॉन्ग। उसके बाद कारपेंटर वाज बैन। तो ऐसा होता है। वैसे ही एक 2012 का कनेक्टिकट का यूनिवर्सिटी, यूएस के है, इंडिया के मुझे नहीं मिले बहुत एग्जाम्पल, तो जहाँ पर नाम थोड़ा सिमिलर होने से मैंने नाम ले लिया। एक डॉक्टर कार्डियोवैस्कुलर रिसर्चर है, डॉक्टर दीपक दास। इन्होंने क्या किया, डाटा फाल्सिफाई की, और उनका जो काम था रिस्वेट्रॉल, दिस इज वन ऑफ द phenolic compound which is found in cotton, induced phenolics है, जिसपे मैंने बताया कि इफेक्ट कार्डियोवैस्कुलर वर्किंग पे इफेक्ट होता है। इसमें they found that he has manipulated 145 times in his research, साइंस का पेपर 2012। सिमिलरली जापानीज का एक अच्छा सा मिला एग्जाम्पल, एनेस्थेसियोलॉजिस्ट की जो सोसाइटी है जापानीज, उन्होंने वहाँ के जो फैकल्टी मेंबर है यूनिवर्सिटी मेडिसिन फैकल्टी, योशिटाका फुजी, उन्होंने जो डाटा फैब्रिकेट किया था, दे फाउंड ही फैब्रिकेटेड डेटा इन 172 पेपर्स। So they found it wrong. वैसे ही और एक बहुत प्रोमिनेंट जो मिला था मुझे लगा था कि जहाँ पर आपको बताना चाहिए, where I felt, because this was related with a young researcher, मुझे थोड़ा ज्यादा रिलेवेंट लगा कि नाम है पैट जे पार्मर। She happens to be from University of Iowa, US, engaged in scientific misconduct in research support for NIH grant. उनका एक grant था, and that was a collaborative linkage study for autism. And in her grant proposal for the same, she said the genetics of specific speech and languages. So what she said, she fabricated the interview record for at least 6 interviews in autism patient families. She manipulated the data, fabricated the data. She fabricated, again, not only this, she fabricated her claims for bachelor degree from University of Northern Iowa, गलत बोले हैं, MS Master of Public Health from University of California, Berkeley campus, and She said she had a PhD in epidemiology and biostatistics from University of Iowa in biographical sketch that was submitted to NIH in 4 grant application. She said that was the false thing, that wrong falsified claim of PhD, also bachelor degree and master degree, and that doesn't restricted her from. She also said that she was co-author of several published paper, and I don't know how she made it. She inserted her name and replacing another name with her name on 10 articles listed in biographical sketch for NIH grant. See, she just put her name in 10 papers. So this is again wrong. See, this is what the example this is the report from finding that Office of this, Research Integrity, that she has falsified the result, falsified the record. See, all wrong things. This is what, this I thought that is more suitable. This is where she has voluntarily put some wrong things there. These are very improper things, and she has been, I presume that I never heard her name anywhere. I could not read her name anywhere. She was falsifying. See how much so many instance. Sure, her research career may not have taken up later. She might be doing some other work. If she could not have done this, she could have been good research field. Doesn't matter. So this is one of the example I wish to show you, because again, upcoming researchers, it was there. Then authorship, we should be very careful that whose name should be there in the author. That those who have made significant and creative contribution, intellectual contribution. Second thing, if you are including in name, essentially you should take permission of that person. Definitely that I am including your name should be there. Just as I said here, as I often say to my students, just being I am supervisor, you should not include my name. Unless I contribute to the group taking research or helping in designing, analysis or something, then only I could be part of the authors. That is what I say. So please be careful in doing so. Not be involved in solely in writing the publication unless contributing to the critically revising the information. See, revising or correction. Suppose if I give a person for just checking the English, means she is not contributing to the study. Contributing the study means to give intellectual idea within the study, or just changing the pattern or some more overall the design of the study, and including many more to have a good conclusion from the study. That we can say that is intellectual contribution. Then investigation, whatever the investigation you are doing, it should be accountable. So whatever the work do, every author should know, and each author is responsible for all type of questions. Then so generally primary author is more held responsible. Then other authors are also held responsible. And lastly, the principal investigator also. So be careful, even when publishing the paper. Then, what are the causes of rise of cheating and plagiarism? I think this is a very, very common problem nowadays. Many of times, even sometimes I feel pity for some of the people. When I was a researcher, I used to read. I was trained under a very able teacher, and apart, I used to write a lot. I used to read a lot, and I learned many things from my guide. But many of the times, some of seniors, super seniors, I can say, they used to say that generally I do just copy and paste from the internet, because I am still very techno savvy, very amenable to various technologies. I easily learn this. So they didn't know what at that time they didn't know what internet is, what taking references and all those things. So their idea was that I was copying from internet some of the papers, pasting it, and making a paper out of it. So it was their understanding. I was not knowing. An instance came. One of my senior told, "Arey, so and so person was telling that you are copying from internet." And how come? So they said that you are you are using internet. Internet is a big thing to take the advantage of, because when I was doing my PhD, these facilities were not available. Now they are available. I am wondered. See how beautiful things they are there. How much many novelties they are present there. I just read there. So they said, he said, no. They says that you are copying things from internet and publishing your paper. Is it? If just let me tell you one thing. If anything is available for internet and that is available to me, it means that could be available to you also. And if it is there, everyone can access it. They can access my paper also and the earlier paper which is published, which they think that I have copied it. So how could be? How you could say this? So this is again, maybe many people who are not aware of this thing, they don't know this thing. They thought that just copying from internet could be. And I presume that many a times plagiarism, again, maybe due to easy availability of the things, people they think they are not known. It's just like a cat licking milk by closed eyes. Closed eyes, it means that no one is seeing. See, it is not like that. Even if you publish one line, it is when it is on the net, means everyone can access to those things, and everyone can see this thing. They can have comparison now. So that could be lead to plagiarism, but there are again many other things which are very strong things, due to which the plagiarism could have been the rise. But peer acceptance. So if we fear that my language is not good and my result is not very good, and I am copying that result and submitting to the journals, then I'll be under pressure that I should present some good work. Then that could just compel me to copy things, plagiarize things. Or as I said, availability and ease of internet resources. But remember, when it is available to you, it is available to everyone, even those things which are even not available to you, but they could be available to those agencies who could detect the plagiarism. Remember, I can show you the instances. So many a times, many things which are not available to you, but they are available to the agencies who could check the plagiarism. So then lack of understanding about academic integrity. Now I am sure that everyone who is listening to me right now is aware of academic integrity. So we can understand that you will never do this false thing which I have been talking of from last my 2 lectures and this lectures too. Similarly, lack of institutional classroom policies or code of conduct. Now, knowingly or unknowingly, after going through the research publication ethics, you are bound to this code of conduct of research and publication ethics. Means when you have passed the examination, means you are following the code of conduct. See how intelligently they have inculcated these things in you, and I appreciate that. Okay? And many of the people sitting over there, the policymakers, one of 2 of my teachers, they were there in the part of making these policies. So I really respect them. Then earlier lack of detection was there. You were not able to detect plagiarism. Now there are so many tools available. I can show you examples. So many tools they are available. See, students are very innocent. There is a chance that you could copy that. Lack of consequences. Even people don't know what will happen if I just copy that. So that could be also the cause of plagiarism. Then assignment and examinations, still we don't compel in Indian scenario. It is, except with few exceptions, this assignments, we don't talk of the writing papers, especially when it comes to the researchers or PhD doers. So there is compulsion of completing publishing 2 research paper so that they will get the idea what is happening over there. So be careful. Then high stake of assignments and examinations, same pressure to succeed and achieve, definitely. So all your work is subjected to plagiarism check. Remember now on. So every journal is subjecting all this the paper submitted to plagiarism check. Then what we could do, what we can do, you can do to ensure the compliance, what we can do to take care of this. See, remember, be careful in taking notes and documentation your sources first, where you are taken from. So write carefully, give attributes, give yourself sufficient time to complete assignments. Generally, in last minute, you just copy and paste, but when you do it with a good time margin, definitely you do to some creative works, and definitely whether it is a writing research paper, writing your thesis, writing any assignment or any other thing. Assignment means to say your thesis, your even your what you say your this synopsis. It is uploaded on the InfluentNet website. Shodh Gangotri is there. Is it? Shodh Gangotri, you will find all synopsis. Even if you copy the things, it will be there. So you will come to know that this is copied thing. So it means the data is available. No one can copy those things. So trust yourself, your ideas, your own words. There could be chances, the combination of word missing, but there is always chance for your intellectual innovations. So you can write in very good way. So please consider the value of learning for your own sake. Please learn for yourself. Be aware of this thing. Try to learn. No one is born with every knowledge, except, we'll not talk of exception. But everyone who is born could learn anything that is taught on the earth or that could be learned on the earth. Definitely, you please learn many of the things for your own sake. Then please be aware of the consequences which I showed you. So this is what, even we don't know what could be the effect of these things, and even sometimes the pressure to succeed and achieve things that could lead to rise of this cheating and plagiarism. Please restrict yourself, control yourself on these things. Then what you can do to ensure the compliances? क्या करना चाहिए? अभी ये बात कर रहा था, I think. Consider the consequences. I think it is also the mentor's responsibility to ensure that you are aware. Please, they know that it is misconduct. So please define the role of the trainee, the publication, the authorship, the principal investigator, all things, an obligation to report. So these things, they are known to your guide also, but you should be also aware and make him aware of these things. So we need to be very careful. I was just reading one editorial given in the International Journal of Radiation Oncology. So editorial was talking about falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism, the unholy trinity of scientific writing. See, this is, he happens to be a editor in chief in Massachusetts. He's doctor from Massachusetts. And see, this is these things, they have become so common with everyone. So he, if you just go through, I think this paper is freely available on net. Just go through, you will get the idea what discussion has been going on. Again, this is an old paper. So even you just fake the data, manipulate the data, falsify the data. So sometimes the results, they will not fit the desired result, or even deleting the result or amending the result. So that is falsified data, manipulation, observation. Even if you doesn't just convince you, these are not good, again, that is also you can consider as a fake data. Or even fabrication means if you just generate some data or make some changes in the pattern, that is fabrication of data. So this is again that comes under this misconduct. So fake data we should be careful of, not falsifying, neither bending, changing statistical signal. Even sometimes people, they apply different statistical tests for bringing out significance. Even that is wrong. Even overall, whatever the conclusion you draw, you should be very appropriate in drawing. That is also regarded in misconduct. Then just many of the time, whenever we talk of data analysis of data, so what happens? Generally, people show that this data is very significant over so at par with the whatever the control or so. So it's very significant. Remember, this temptation should be should never be there. Whatever the result you get, if it is okay, this is good. If it is not okay, doesn't matter. Don't be in the mood of just showing that you are generating very significant. Again, whatever the result, naturally you are getting it. Please be there enough to put the data as in the same form. Then even in some of the cases, there are many instances like market research or even clinical studies. The people just invent the data which is not even exist. They just invent the data and just put it there for that financial support for grants and all this. See, this is, these cases, they are the most serious cases, especially when you expect that you should get prestige or advancement or money or name, fame. So just by doing wrong things, don't expect that good name could be done. Even doesn't matter. See, almost what David Goldstein has said, almost never occurs in the field like physics, astronomy, and geology. There is no terminology like almost. So we need to be very careful in putting our data. Then statistical methods, there are many methods statistically now. We have gone automated on there are many different types of algorithms available. We have SPSS, we have many more software. MATLAB is doing good analytical statistical results. There are so many specialized programs available. Sigma, there was one program I was using, was Sigma, that was doing statistical analysis. So all they have different algorithm. If you analyze that, they will generate some different result. But you should be very, very careful when judging this result, taking this result. So whatever the method you look at, please look at the distribution of digits, presentation, variance, deviation, standard deviation, range, then ANOVA and all those, especially when you are dealing with biological data. Analysis of variance is essential. There is two-way. There are various different types of tests that could be applied. Even using test may be correct, but using wrong test at the right place, that is again, can say it is a misconduct. So please be careful over the data. Then risk factors. So don't be in a mood that don't be first the career pressure that you need to complete that. And for that purpose, don't be a wrongdoer. For a good thing, don't generate it with the wrong things. So please be careful. Always, maybe you may have a career pressure. You need to just accomplish within the time, but never do it by wrong methods. Always be sincere, be honest with those methods which you are doing. Then knowing the answer again is wrong. In the research, we never knew what the answer could be. So even knowing the answer, it is wrong. So that is falsifying the data. So even if we are working, team could be good. So working in the small team, that could help you a lot. So that will help you. So working in the field where individual experiments are not expected to be precisely reproducible. I remember generally when we talk of summing of the experiment, then it is okay that results could be reproducible. For individual experiment, we don't expect that results will. Be careful in such experiments. More of the time, this will generate the wrong data. Then how to deal with that? This is a bigger problem, fake data. Then, so it increases the exposure to peer review and full access to the original data. You should able to submit it, get it checked by people who are really well known in the field. They may help you a lot, whether it is really correct or wrong, they will be able to predict. Then from public data repository, you can compare this data, make it whether it is correct. Even take some help of good statisticians. They may also help whether data is proper or not. They will able to tell. And remember, you should always devote sufficient funding to repeat the experiment. See, the number of time you repeat the experiments, the chances of minimizing the error increases. See, number of replication is directly proportional to the errors. So if you take more results, inversely proportional to the, there will be lesser errors. So in that way, if you repeat it more time, your errors will be reduced substantially. So automated scanning of publication. This could be again fake generation of data. One more I received last year. I received one question. That's why I included this. Self-plagiarism, it is again wrong. So if you are publishing the same data in different journal, assuming that the data figure, they are different things. So if you give proper attribution, then it is okay. So, but otherwise, self-plagiarism, even it is not permitted. A word of warning to all the researchers. Remember, there is a condition to publish 2 papers before your thesis. I suggest to take, suppose when you are doing research, you come across several instances where you wish to, where you are tempted to do some research in that part, which is not directly related to a research topic. So when you do, you get good results. So always you can choose such for publication. If you take publication from your mainstream result, again, the paper will be published much before your thesis is submitted. Again, when your thesis is subjected to plagiarism, there is a chance that your own paper will show that part of thesis is plagiarized. So that is even, please be careful. Again, this is a sort of a suggestion, or you can take it as a warning, that publish a paper which is not directly related with your thesis or not directly data taken. Once your thesis is accepted, then you can publish as it is, then no one will ask. But prior to that, there is a chance. So this is again one of the things which I thought I should discuss with you. Then authorship or credit, I talked of, see, these are, I wish, the top 10 poor behaviors of the researcher which could lead to research misconduct. So again, these I have taken from that Nature paper. They have just put it there. I thought these are the more appropriate things by which I could make aware many of our researchers, that once is falsifying or cooking research data. Even generating the data, it is wrong. Ignoring major aspect of human subject requirements. So whatever the requirements they are, you should be carefully pay focus on that. Then not properly disclosing involvement in firms whose products are based on one's own research. Suppose you should disclose each and everything of those chemicals which are used to the product, the software, whatever you have used. Always give proper attribution that we have used this thing from this. Then a relationship with student, research subjects, clients, and that may be interpreted as questioning. Remember, many a time that happens that whatever the research subject, you are falsifying the research or data taken from the clients, and when you interpret the data, that becomes questioning. Even data from patients without their information and without their knowledge, that is wrong, that is misconduct. Then using another's idea without obtaining permission of giving due credit. That is what we say it is plagiarism. This is again not accepted behavior. Unauthorized use of confidential information. Your colleague is doing some work and you are using that confidential. That should not also done. Then failing to present data that contradict one's own previous result. Suppose you got something result earlier and second time you're doing some different work and your data is contradicting your earlier. Please be true to the you should able to find why it is happening so. Otherwise, sometime it happens, no, this is contradicting, I should not publish this data. You will keep aside. So that is also not expected behavior. Circumventing certain minor aspect of subject. I talked of ignoring major even minor subject requirements. That is wrong. Then overlooking others' use of flawed data or questionable interpretation of data. So again, how do you interpret the data? That is more important. Data which is flawed, which is not very carefully organized. So please don't overlook, be careful in looking into that. So changing the design methodology or the result in a study just to gain funding, that is falsification, it's wrong. Or even there are other behaviors, again, which I could read from some of the papers, that publishing same data multiple, this maybe some else may be talking about this. Inappropriate assigning credit authorship, then methodology, inadequate appropriate research design, not very good. Dropping the result or just emitting the result which you think it is inaccurate, or not keeping perfect record, that is also. So these are the things I think which just broadly comes under misconduct, but we can classify them into falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. So I think I have sufficiently discussed things with this. I think if you have any question regarding this, I'll be very happy to discuss with you, because I think this is very crucial time. You should understand these things, and you should by and large discuss not with your teachers, with your guide, even with your fellow researchers, so that it will be part of your good behavior, responsible behavior for research. So if you have a question, I am open to the question. Please feel free to ask. Marathe sir. Marathe sir.
सर, हम अपने एक पेपर का डेटा दूसरे पेपर में यूज कर सकते क्या?
नहीं
मतलब कुछ रेफरेंस
डेटा की बात कर रहा हूँ, डेटा की बात कर रहा हूँ। रेफरेंस देख के डेटा कैसे यूज करेंगे? डेटा वो चीज है जो आप एक्सपेरिमेंटली जनरेट करते हैं, ठीक है ना? तो आप एक पेपर, हाँ आप कोशिश ये कर सकते, पर ये भी गलत है। मगर इसमें एक बार हम सोच, इसको हम लॉजिकली हम डिफाइन कर सकते। कैसे कि जब वो सपोज आपके पास एक डेटा है जिसमें 3 सैंपल का एनालिसिस लिखे, ठीक है, तो आपने क्या किया, आपकी स्टडी पहले 3 सैंपल तक की थी, 3 सैंपल की स्टडी की, आपने रिजल्ट पब्लिश कर दिया, आपका पेपर भी पब्लिश हो गया। बाद में क्या हो गया कि आपके काम बढ़ाते गए, आपके 3 के वो 30 सैंपल हो गए, ठीक है। 30 सैंपल स्टडी में फिर आप क्वेश्चन ये आ गया कि बाकी के 27 सैंपल का एनालिसिस और 30 सैंपल के एनालिसिस में आपको डिफरेंस दिखता है क्या? अगर उसमें और इसमें सेम ट्रेंड है तो आपने सीधा सीधा वो पहले का डेटा बाजू कर देना चाहिए और 27 सैंपल का सबमिट करना चाहिए। हाँ, अगर वहां पर आपको लगता है कि पहले के 3 सैंपल में आपकी एनालिसिस अलग थी और 27 में जो एनालिसिस हो रही है वो टोटल डेटा का अलग एनालिसिस आ रही है, तब आप वो इंक्लूड करके विथ रेफरेंस ये देना कि ये पेपर, ये काम पहले हुआ है, ये पेपर में छपा है, ये डेटा वहां पर है ऑलरेडी, और उसमें ये जो ट्रेंड था इसमें यहाँ पर मुझे ऐसा नहीं मिल रहा है, गलत मिल रहा है। क्यों मिल रहा है? उसके रीजन, जस्टिफाई, लॉजिकली, रैशनल, जो भी आपको देना है तो वैसा हो सकता। पर अभी बहुत बार मेरे सामने आए हैं ऐसे पेपर, मेरे पास एक रिव्यू के लिए पेपर आया था, उन्होंने सेम डेटा ऑलरेडी एक पब्लिश्ड पेपर में से लिए, उसमें पहले पेपर में 2 टेबल थे, तीसरे जो पेपर मेरे पास रिव्यू में आ गया उसमें 3 टेबल हो गए। मैं बोला ये क्या है 3 टेबल, 2 टेबल, पहले का डेटा एज इट इज, उसमें एनालिसिस एज इट इज, सिर्फ एक का एनालिसिस बढ़ा दिए, हो गया। दिस इज रॉन्ग। मैंने आउटराइट उसमें लिख दिया कि उसमें एक सलामी पब्लिकेशन बोलते हैं, दिस इज अ सलामी पब्लिकेशन एंड दिस शुड नेवर बी कंसिडर्ड फॉर पब्लिकेशन। तो ऐसा होता है। सो कोशिश कीजिए कि ऑलरेडी यूज हुए हुआ डेटा मत यूज कीजिए, अनलेस आपको इसके लगता है कि इसके बगैर हम कुछ रिजल्ट नहीं बोल पाएंगे, कुछ नई फाइंडिंग नहीं बता पाएंगे, देन इट इज ओके, तब आप यूज कीजिए डेटा। अगर जब उसके बगैर चल सकता है तो नेवर यूज इट। आई थिंक आपको मेरा आंसर, आपके
Yes,
क्वेश्चन
sir.
का आंसर सही मिल गया।
हाँ सर, थैंक यू।
अरे वेलकम। और कोई क्वेश्चन? मुझे लगा बहुत क्वेश्चन होंगे प्लेगरिज्म पे, इस पे। अगर नहीं है तो रुकेंगे फिर।
हाँ हेलो सर।
हाँ सर।
हाँ हेलो सर। ओके ओके सर, हो गया?
हो गया सर, हो गया।
ओके ओके। नहीं, दूसरी। हाँ, एक मिनट सर।
श्योर श्योर।
हेलो सर। हाँ हाँ सर, thank you very much sir. On behalf of all the participants and Research Committee Science College Nanded, I express my gratitude towards Dr. MMV Beg sir for giving very nice and explanatory lecture. Thank you very much sir.
Thank you sir, thank you for giving an opportunity to interact with the researcher, with my alma mater, with the alumni.
Yeah.
So thank you sir, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you sir. Okay.
Shall I leave sir?
And, yes sir, yes you may sir.
Okay sir, thank you.
Mr. Ganesh, I request Mr. Ganesh to end the meeting. Ganesh. Hello, Ganesh. Ganesh. Hello. एक मिनट. So participants, we will meet at tomorrow 11 a.m. Huh?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.